In the verse 325 of Dhammapada, Buddha says that a person who becomes lazy becomes an overeater. After being overcome by sleepiness, he tries to change positions repeatedly in an attempt to sleep. After becoming an overeater, he becomes as fat as a pig. Such a person becomes a fool and ends up in an endless cycle of suffering repeatedly, and he will born again and again into difficult situations. Once upon a time, a few disciples of Lord Buddha asked him, "O Lord Buddha, why do you always tell us to eat food with love? And why do we say to consume food in balanced quantities? If we don't consume that food with love, will that food no longer be food? Or if we consume food in large quantities, will it act as a poison in our body?" Lord Buddha said that our thoughts become according to the food we eat. By food here, Buddha means all those things which we consume. Whether it is food or information, these things affect our lives deeply. Lord Buddha says to his disciples, "Let me tell you a small story. With this, you will be able to understand this thing better." Once upon a time, a saint lived in a hut in the forest. Whoever went to him with his problem, the saint would solve his problem in a moment. Gradually, people from nearby villages also started coming to that saint asking for the solution to their problems, and he would solve everyone's problems. Gradually, his fame spread from village to city, and from cities to the state. The news of the fame of the saint reached the ears of the king of that state. So one day the king went to meet the saint along with his ministers and commanders. The king said to the saint, "I have heard a lot about you. I have heard that you have a solution to every problem. That is why I feel that you are most needed in our royal court, where the people bring new issues every day. Why are you wasting your time here in the jungle? You don't even get proper food here. Whenever you get hungry, you have to pluck wild fruits and eat them. You have to sleep on stones without any comfort. So come with us to our palace. There you will be provided with all kinds of comforts, and there will be delicious dishes of food and delicacies, sweets to eat. So come and taste them. Why are you wasting your time here? Come sit with us in our royal court and enhance the beauty of the royal court." That saint tried his best to say no to the king, but the king did not listen. The king falls at his feet and begs to go with him, and finally takes the saint with him to his palace. And in the palace, that king provides all kinds of comforts to that saint. Slowly, time passes, and with time, the behavior of the saint also starts changing. You will not believe that while living in the palace of that king, the behavior of that saint changes completely. Even that saint is unable to understand why his nature is changing so much. Then one day, suddenly getting a chance, the saint runs away from that palace. But he takes with him some valuables, which include the queen's necklace, diamonds, and precious coins. When the king finds out about the saint's theft, he sends his soldiers after him. The soldiers search for the monk everywhere to catch him, but they cannot find him anywhere. The saint runs towards the forest and gets tired while running. Then he comes to the middle of the forest and sits under a tree. As he sits under the tree, a fruit breaks off from the tree and falls near the saint. The saint was very hungry, and so he ate the fruit. The saint didn't know that the fruit is a medicine that makes the person sick after it enters his stomach. If the medicine is taken without any need, it can also harm the body. The medicine makes the saint very sick. He becomes so sick that he is on the verge of death, and his body dries up and becomes like a piece of wood. Now the saint wonders why he is running away with the king's money. He realized that I was a saint, I didn't know what happened to me, and that I was running away with this money in vain. As soon as this thought comes to his mind, the saint is filled with a feeling of guilt. He feels very guilty and goes back to the palace and starts returning the king's money. Seeing this, the king is very surprised and asks the saint, "When you had to return the money, then why did you run away with this money?" Hearing this, the saint says to the king, "Forgive me, king, but for the last few months I have been eating your food. That is why my thinking has become exactly like yours. Thanks to that tree which gave me the medicinal fruit, After eating that fruit, my body fell ill, and all the food I had eaten of yours was wasted in that illness. And only then did I realize how wrong I was doing to myself." That saint tells the king that whatever money you have not earned it by hard work. You have either snatched it from someone or have collected it from people. That is why consuming your food made it from this money corrupted my mind. After finishing the story, Lord Buddha tells his disciples that whatever we accept determines our future. That is why I want to tell all of you that before accepting anything, you must check where the thing you are about to accept comes from. Does it come from sin? Does it come from disease? Does it come from jealousy? Or does it come from love? Because whatever you take inside you, whether it is food or thoughts, both of these things decide what your future will be like.